I watched this video a couple of days ago, and what is it, 2 minutes and 35 seconds long? So, we'll watch it together. And it just baffles me. It doesn't. No, that's not true. Baffle is the wrong word. But I will say, personally, I enjoy self checkout. I can see that some people hate it. And yeah, if I'm often shopping for one, so that definitely skews my opinion and perspective on it. Very rarely do I have a cart full of things, but usually self checkout is a lot faster for me than it is if I were to wait in a line for somebody to do my scanning for me. So let's see what other people have to say. Let's see what CNBC says about this as well.
Place your item in the bagging area.
They are supermarket contraptions,
Help is on the way.
causing super headaches.
Place your item in the bagging area.
The self-checkout lane.
I hate self-checkout. Those machines do not work.
Last resort. Last resort for me.
But despite the hate, stores are ringing up even more of them.
I always have to call somebody to come over anyway. It makes so for a difficult time.
Kroger, one of the nation's largest supermarket chains, has just converted one of its stores to self-checkout only. Walmart and Dollar General also experimenting with no-man registers.
If your store went full self-checkout, how big of a problem would that be for you?
Huge.
But are we now at a point where it is here to stay forever?
Oh, yeah. I don't see we're turning back on this.
Stu Leonard Jr. owns 7 stores in the New York area and says he's noticed an obvious trend.
The younger people embrace it and love to use it more than older people. I don't see much gray hair in the self-checkout line.
He says 75% of his customers still prefer human cashiers, so he's keeping them. But there are labor savings with self-checkout.
We have one cashier for one customer at the regular checkout line. Over here, we try to have 8 of them, I think, and we have 2 people on board right now. The ratio now goes 4 to 1.
There's some growing pains associated with
Yeah,
it.
just like any technology, self-checkout, there are growing pains.
Here's where things can really go off the rails. This can of beans, no problem.
One.
These organic bananas, well, that's a whole nother story.
Help is required for this item. Help is on the way.
Leonard believes the technology will get better and customers will get more used to it. Others, however, aren't as optimistic.
I don't think that there's one shopper in the nation who would like to go to an all self-checkout store. And
So right there, yeah, we're about halfway, well, about 30 seconds left in the video. But this gentleman saying that, yeah, there's not a customer in the country or maybe said world that would like to go all self-checkout facility only. I don't see why that would be a bad thing. As long as they have employees there to assist when needed, I can't remember the last time I chose to go to a manned or an assisted checkout when there were self-checkout lines available. There's a Publix up the street for me that doesn't have any self-checkout. So yeah, at that particular Publix, yeah, I have to go to a register with an employee. But the other 2 Publix that are in the area, I prefer and always go to the self-checkout. With Kroger, self-checkout. With, what was it? Food King? No, not Food King. Food Depot, self-checkout. When I saw Dollar General had self-checkout, I was like, hey, here's another reason for me to come to Dollar General. I mean, I'm buying whatever I need to get. But I think at the beginning of the video, when I was trying to say I was baffled at something, and it was, and maybe it is the correct word, that we as adults, I'm not talking about children because whatever, but as adults, we have seen people scan our stuff for the entirety of our life. Take the item, scan it. Take the item, scan it. Sometimes there's a separate bagger down there. Sometimes you bag your own thing. Sometimes the actual cashier bags your stuff as well. But the core concept of taking an item with the barcode and scanning it is not difficult. And that's it. I get that if you have a lot of stuff and there's not a lot of space, you have to kind of play Tetris to figure out how you're going to get everything on that little scale, because if you scan it and you don't bag it, it might say, hey, you're not bagging. So sometimes there are issues. Some of the Walmarts that I've been to, they have bigger areas for you to bag your belongings. And that one example that the newscasters or the reporter showed, that he scanned one item, it was fine, and scanned the organic bananas. I don't know why that was an issue. I very rarely buy produce, but usually when I do, you scan it, you lay it right there so it can weigh it, and then once it weighs it, it tells you how much it costs, you put it in the bag. So I am appreciative of the fact that that owner of that grocery store that was at the beginning of the story said that, yeah, younger people embrace it. I guess, yeah, I am a younger person compared to, this gentleman on the screen and the owner of those grocery stores. But at the same time, I feel like being in my mid 30s, I'm kind of, in the middle, that there are a ton of people who are a lot older than me who are out doing shopping and don't really care for self checkout. And there are a ton of people who are younger than me who are being brought up in this environment of, hey, you go get it off the shelves, which that wasn't always a thing, and that was, before I was born. But yeah, you go get your stuff off the shelf, you put it in your bag, your cart, your whatever it is that you're choosing to use, and then you go scan it yourself. You have an employee here if you need it, and you're good to go. I was at Sam's Club the other day, and I wanted to buy some sparkling water, and I noticed that for the Ice brand drink, which I don't have a bottle up here right now, but the Ice brand drink, it was, I think, $15 or $16 to buy it. Normal price there at Sam's Club for like a 24-pack. But if you opted to go the scan and go route, it was like, I think, $10. So at that point, it's truly self-checkout where you're checking out while you're still in the aisle. So you scan it while you're there. And I think once you finish scanning, you walk under some type of other scanning device and it does something. I don't know. I've never done it. But clearly there are things that extreme where you're scanning stuff while you're in the aisles as opposed to once you actually get to your register, manned or unmanned. And as the employer or the owner of those grocery stores pointed out, yeah, self-checkout is not going anywhere. It's only going to become more of a thing. The ratio of 4-to-1, you might need to change that a little bit, so that way you don't feel like you're ever being inconvenienced while you're at the self-checkout register. But yeah, I think it's great. Thoroughly enjoy it. The one Kroger that I was, not Kroger, the one Publix that I was saying that doesn't have self-checkout, for the most part, I try to avoid that one because I'm like, at any given time, those lines are extremely long. And when I can go to the Publix that has self-checkout, I'm usually in and out without an issue. So let's finish these last 30-something seconds and see exactly what this gentleman has to say.
Frankly, as these retailers are putting in more stores that are only self-checkout, I think their sales are going to decline.
By one estimate, 95% of stores now have some form of self-checkout, so it's unlikely any of them will bag the concept soon. George Solis, NBC News, New York.
And I kind of wish I just finished those last couple of seconds to include those last few words of him saying he thinks that as more and more of these stores install more self-checkout, their sales are going to decline. I don't think I could disagree with that more. I mean, at some point it's going to be, well, all of the stores doing it, so as a consumer you won't have a choice. But yeah, that's his opinion, and we're all entitled to our opinions. But I just think he's wrong. And as more and more do it, more and more people who are older, my age and younger, get used to it. It just kind of becomes second nature of, oh yeah, I get my stuff, I scan it myself, I bag it, boom, I'm good to go. Will we see a lowering of prices as a result of that particular company potentially having a decrease in labor cost? Probably not. Will you save some time when you're going in and you just need to get one quick thing? Maybe. So I'm looking forward to it as more and more stores continue to roll out with self-checkout. As long as there are enough people there to manage the self-checkout area, I don't think we'll have a problem.